I think by now you have all figured out that I'm from the United States, that I'm actually a New Yorker, a little bit crazy, and that, and therefore, everything I'm going to present is going to be from the cultural perspective of me working in the United States. So I'm going to go through a lot of information, and my hope is that everyone, regardless of what country and culture, there's something here that is translatable. Kids are not forming relationships the way they used to. When a kid can go and just kill people and walk away from a bomb in Boston 2 weeks ago, the kid is not involved in relationships that make them feel connected. We do it through sports. It is the most powerful vehicle. It is extremely powerful. And I do think that 20, 30 years from now, they're going to look back at conferences like this and say, that's where the sports-based youth development movement began, was when the Olympics got together, and my group brings organizations together in the United States. That's when it began, the movement that started to turn around the violence, turn around the dropout rates, the poor education, the overweight, obesity rates for children in the United States and in all countries all over the world. Mercedes-Benz sponsors us because it's a very elite brand. But they know that kids today growing up, they're not going to relate to elite brands. And they don't want people driving Mercedes-Benz actually thinking, you know, this is an elite car and people don't like me in the future. So what they decide to do is invest in sports to say, no, we're not an elite brand. We're a brand that cares about the entire community. And so people who drive Mercedes-Benz, or the future generation, will want to buy a Mercedes if they can afford it, because they know that the company cares about the whole community. And the whole community cares about the symbol Mercedes-Benz. The reason I tell that story again is because we cannot, brands know, corporations know, they cannot afford to be elite. Who played sports, who came out of inner city Chicago or Bangladesh or India and becomes an Olympian is really the story that galvanizes the entire world, that makes people dream and makes people believe again. Having said all of that, that is not the topic I was here to present. So, the topic I'm here to present is called volunteerism. How many of you work with volunteers? I just want to hear, what are the biggest challenges some of you have with your volunteers? Anyone? Throw it out. Commitment. Meeting other people. Do you guys, your answers are right, but not in the beginning. In the beginning, in my mind, the number one thing people want is a t-shirt. Especially if the organization's cool. They love t-shirts. Everyone does. So let me take you through some of the things I've learned in the last 25 years about volunteerism, but also through my network at Up2us. First, why they're so important. Every organization, I think in sport, there should be one person who's in charge of volunteers, because we all need volunteers. They are a great source of labor that is cheap, but it's not free. Volunteers are free if you ask people to come to your organization and volunteer, and you say, there's the soccer ball, or there's the tennis racket, go. Then they're free. You didn't do anything. You spent 30 seconds with them. And they're going to go, and my guess is they're not going to come back. They'll go maybe once, twice, and you won't see them again. That's when volunteers are free. But when volunteers are cheap, it means you take time. And you're going to train those volunteers. And you're going to give a job description. And you're going to get feedback and ask them, how was your experience? And you're going to work with them. You're going to reward them. You're going to give them a chance maybe to do new things in the organization, to come to staff meetings. That means you're taking time, which your time costs money. But now you have successful volunteers. So volunteers are inexpensive, but they're not free. Next topic is the two kinds of volunteers. The first one, I told you, if you have corporate funding, you gotta get the corporation to come on out. And that, to me, is a classic sort of episodic volunteer. They're only coming for an experience, maybe a day. You don't have to worry about training them. You just want them to have a good time, to feel good, to see something, maybe learn something. And you're really clear about this is what I want you to do to help our organization in this volunteer experience. Okay? Let me give examples of this. You ask a corporation to come out and set up a tournament. You ask them you go to a volunteer, you list a bunch of things you need, like we need a photographer. We need great pictures of kids in our program for our annual reports, for our website. So you ask someone who's great at photography at a corporation or in the community. That's like a one-time thing. They come out and take pictures.